Welcome back, friend. This one's about chord changing. We've had lots of questions about chord changing. Now, I'm going to do a specific type of chord changing here. A lot of practice, especially chord changing, anything you do, has to do with something called the point of change. Now, I'm not going to go into a deep explanation about that, but it's just saying that when you get to a certain point where your hand is in one place, or your fingers are in one place or set of places, and you've got to make the next move, at that point, that should be the point of focus. That's all it really means, that when the first thing that's going to move moves, that's what you focus on. Now, this is going to be focusing on the point of change between chords and then what type of movement you need next. Now, I've categorized lots of different movements, but in the song House of the Rising Sun, this is a good vehicle to understand this one. What this is about is finger priority, and the priority and how it takes in the way that you sort of cascade your fingers, like cascading your fingers as if you were going to tap like this. Is it this way with your pinky to your thumb, or is it this way with your thumb to your pinky? That's all I mean by cascading. You know, the same way someone might cascade information or water cascading. So the idea is here that most people, when they play this song, if they're beginning, they're going to go, fine, I'm going to stick to this arpeggio of down, 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 up, up, up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I may split that grouping, but for the moment I'm just going to start and we'll work with adjacent strings, 3 down picks, 3 up picks. We're going to try and keep everything just sort of simple and memorable. And then we're going to change through the chords of A minor to C to D to F major 7 to A minor to C to E. And that's as far as we need to go, if we even go that far. I just want you to see these movements. So the first thing is that we're going to take our pick, and we're going to, for the picking, I'll let you see it this way. You're going to go down, put over the sound holes better. Down, 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 up, up. So that's the picking. Now you want to practice your picking separately. You want to think, you know, down, 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 up, 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 all on adjacent strings, and get used to that. And then this is a good vehicle for understanding this type of chord change. Now the first one's easy. You could practice, well, it's the easier than the next one. You might not be easy for you if you've never picked up a guitar before, you know. So you're going to go, starting on the A string, which is the root of that chord. And then you're going to go down, 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 and then you're going to go below the B string to come back up, 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 up. So you go on top of the string, top of the string, top of the string, go past the B string to the bottom of the string, bottom of the string, bottom of the string when you return. Now that's going to repeat that pattern, you get used to it, and all you're doing next is you're going to move this finger. Now you might have to hop a little bit, you know, and let go a little bit with your middle finger, but if you can get to the point where you're just moving one finger, then that's that one done. So you got the point of change there, is that third finger. I think it's right. And you practice that pair. And every now and again you might have to wiggle that middle finger or relax it and squitch it, you know, or whatever, because you'll tell when you need to do that. Otherwise you just get that one movement. Now here's the one that's the important one. You're going to go from C, and it's getting from C, this big twisting movement, to get to the D without glitching, you know? So if you look at it carefully, what you'll see is the point of change here is what it goes kind of hidden and awkward, is that you're hitting the A string, D string, G string down, then the B string, G string, D string up. And then your next chord is a D chord. So you're going to have to hit down on the D string again to get the root of that D chord. And then you've changed the string set to the top 4 to get your down, 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 up, up, up on adjacent strings. And what people aren't noticing when they first do this is that you've got a funny little picking pattern you've got to do. So the first thing is to understand what's happening with your picking. With your picking, you're going to go down, 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 up, 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 down. And that's the open D, and that's your point of change. So your first point of change is going to be to practice just that arpeggio. It's actually, that's a little more than the real point of change. You're going to start before the point of change and go up to it and just get that open D like this. I'll do it again. I've got a little chart here that I made for someone the other day on an online lesson. And that's how we represented it. You know, this is what's happening. You're really only focusing on the C chord and then going to that open D first. I left the open D out because I think this is what you're going to do next. But I shouldn't have showed you that. Sorry. But that's what happens next. You're going to do this little run up to the point of change. I'll say that again. You're going to do this little run up to the point of change, which is up, down with an open D. But now your focus is on the new point of change, which is that G fret 2, it's the A note, and it's the beginning of the formation of your D chord. So now you've got this. And that's all you're worried about doing, is just landing that pattern. D to D, that's your real point of change. That's the exact point of change. When you do the run up to it, you get... That's what you want to do if you want to get past this quickly. You just find what the point of change is and then do that. Then you add on the next note. And you practice that a few times. Because a lot of people, I bet, some of you have been going like this. And they're trying to jump into that D chord. So you go... and you get this little glitch, you get this little gap, you know. We're going to lose that gap by going... First get the D, now you got the G string. Now you got these guys flying around in the air like a end of a flagpole, and what do we do now? So now what you want to do is think, what really comes next? My third finger, the temptation is to think 1, 2, 3, but my third finger's next. So I'm going to follow that cascading finger priority. Now at this point you can guess, you can see, you know what's going to happen, you know what I mean? There's no spoiler alert, you've seen the end of this movie. You're going to try and get that second finger on there. What's the angle we want? There it is. So now you're going to do this. Up pick, because that's what's going to happen. That's the point of change there. So now you're going to go. See what I mean? Now once you do that, bite by bite, chunk by chunk, bit by bit, you know, pavement step by pavement step, however you want to look at it, you'll first find that you'll get really easy to just do that. Then you're going to add the rest. I messed up. And these are going to fall down in place. Now, eventually, you'll probably be able to grab that as a block all at once. But like a lot of things, you want to find the way that's doable, the way that's playable, the way that sneaks you into that, and then you start to add the block. Now once you see that, I'm going to finish here, but I just want to show you that the same thing can happen the other way around. You got your close position now, these 4 notes, your next point of change. Now you've got 2 fingers, one's in the wrong place and one's landed in the point of change. So the point of change here isolated, you've got your D chord, and it would be D chord, D chord, up, down, D chord. And what happens next? You got to swap. You got to swap that finger out. So you got to walk it. still free. Now I'm just doing just before the point of change to just after, because I'm thinking that's what I'm learning to, that's what I need to learn. That's what I need to tell all my, you know, nervous pathways, all my truck tires, all my ski trails, all my snow plows, all the things that we always talk about. And you'll get it if you stop trying to go, you know, if you stop trying to do it like that. Try and find what each point of change is. Now I've reached that point and I need to swap that finger, and you'll find it'll start to work that way. So I don't want to make this a super long video. I'd hope that this makes sense. The point of change relates to other things as well, but in this case, we're going from each point of change and we're trying to figure out what the exact finger priority is, and what cascading order they go in. And I left out before, because I just thought, okay, I left out the open D because it was going to get too much, you know, just to show a chart to remind us of what we did. And I'll send this in with the, you know, I'll put this in the video as a little clip. But, you know, and they'll be there, you know, like everything that gets established, we get going. Like I said, I'm changing platforms and stuff. We're coming from a bit of weirdness and fitting things in. And so there'll be PDFs and things like that. But all you're trying to do is if you follow those meticulous little set of steps, you'll find that this will work for this song. So you'll soon be then changing your arpeggio, doing whatever you want with it. Start to mess with it. So you could strum it, put a bass line, start to change it all you want. But these are the important things, that you look at these little stepping stones, little Lego blocks of things that you stick together to make things work all the way through. So yeah, if any of this content from all these videos that are, you know, flying around help you, then you know, leave some comments about what you like or don't like, and like and subscribe and all the usual stuff. And thanks for popping in, and I hope that this point of change and finger order and cascading idea of fingers helps you. All right, I'll see you next time.